Everyone, hey, it's Nate with Outside Cleaners. I'm on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So basically there was recently a contractor down in Georgia, a cleaning contractor, that got hit with a $55,000 fine because he was transporting sodium hypochlorite in an illegal fashion. How much sodium hypochlorite are you allowed to transport for your exterior cleaning job? Unless you have a commercial driver's license, CDL, with a hazmat endorsement and all the placarding and bells and whistles that goes with it, you're allowed to carry up to 1,000 pounds. And what that basically translates to is 100 gallons. So 100 gallons is your ceiling. I'll also point out that that's the most you're allowed to be able to carry. So you cannot have 100 gallons in a 120-gallon tank. What are you transporting it in? Here's a hint. Those square poly tanks that everyone uses, they're not DOT approved, and certainly not for a Class 8 oxidizer like sodium hypochlorite. So if you're moving SH, it's basically got to be in a DOT, UN approved and stamped container. Here's an example of what that stamp is going to look like. Now that might look like Greek to you and I, but these letters and numbers mean something. Now it's very, very hard to get these type of containers DOT and UN approved. So there's not a lot of them. So what that's going to mean is you're basically going to end up with a drum or one of these little rectangular pails. So here's something else. If you take a DOT or UN approved tank and you drill a hole in it for a bulkhead fitting to plumb to your proportioner or your downstream injector, you've just ruined that tank as far as the law is concerned. Okay? So once again, all those square poly tanks that I'm seeing on everyone's homemade trailers, the pre-made skids, the fancy overpriced power washing trailers, all of those tanks that are intended to carry bleach, they're not legal. You go down the road with those and you're putting it yourself in line for a possible fine. Obviously, maybe you skate through your whole career flying under the radar, never getting in trouble. Maybe. Or maybe you get tagged on your first day of work. All right. So that's the quantity and that's the type of tank. Now, you can't just have a tank without a label. You got to label it appropriately. And I don't mean by writing SH on it with a magic marker. It's going to need to be labeled with this type of sticker. That sticker is going to have to be visible. The whole point is, look, if you get in an accident, you get T-boned and leaking all over the road, the people that show up to help are going to have to know what it is, and I mean exactly what it is, and how much do you have, and where was it going, and where did it come from, and all the details. Okay? It's common sense stuff, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be common sense. All right, so what if you're like me? I mostly clean cedar for a living. I don't use much sodium hypochlorite on a regular basis. What if I just am carrying like 5 gallons or 2 5-gallon containers? Do I still need all that paperwork? No. There's something in the rules called a Materials of Trade Exemption. And what that basically says is, look, if you keep it under 440 pounds or 44 gallons, you don't need a bill of lading, but you do have to limit your container size to 8-gallon maximum. So it depends on the type of work you do as to the exact details of the rules. Now, I don't know about you, but a $55,000 fine would, for me, be financially devastating, which is why I'm always that schmuck trying to follow the rules when it comes to this stuff. All right? I want to sleep at night. I don't want to feel like I'm flying under the radar or dodging way stations or any of that stuff. If anything that I say doesn't sound true to you, look it up. And if you think I'm wrong, and if you can show me in the codes, bring it to my attention and I'll push any corrections as hard as I can. But please be aware that just because the schmuck to your left and the schmuck to your right are doing it one way, that doesn't mean it's DOT legal, okay?